edition of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, a joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
Fall camp is coming to a close. Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning met with the media for the final time during fall camp today. We kick off today's show with that. Also, Oregon soccer on the road in Hawaii with a 1-0-1 start to the season at home. Now the Ducks head on the road for a couple road tests on the islands. We'll hear from head coach Tracy Joyner coming up. Will Stein, Oregon offensive coordinator, also the quarterback room. We'll zero in on linebackers as we continue to break down Oregon football heading into game week. The Ducks will no longer meet with the media in fall camp. Next time we meet with the Ducks, it's going to be when Dan Lanning does his Montana State preview on Monday night. That's all coming up here over the next week and a half as we approach that opener against Montana State. A 1 o'clock kickoff at Autzen Stadium. Stripe out Autzen Stadium, by the way. I probably have not said that enough against Montana State. Stripe out is in effect. All the details on GoDucks.com. GoDucks.com/gameday has been updated. I'll say it again. GoDucks.com/gameday. It's been updated with all your essential info. And speaking of that, join us tomorrow for a comprehensive look at everything you need to know about a game day at Autzen Stadium. We're talking with Assistant AD for Events and Operations, Ben Clark. We're talking with our Head of Fan Experience, Assistant AD for Marketing and Fan Engagement, Brooke Robinson. And for those of you that don't know, Brooke might be the best DJ that I've ever met. Jason Harris, also our Associate AD of Ticket Revenue, will be with us talking about everything you need to know for game day at Autzen, and then come back to the show on Friday because John Sargent, our Head of Concessions, will be here with some duck deals, $5 duck deals in effect at Autzen Stadium this year, and some grab-and-go options for various concessions at Autzen. We'll talk about that coming up on Friday. All right, Dan Lanning, everybody wants to hear who's going to start? See if Coach Lanning tells us. It's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning today.
With Gary back on the field now compared to a year ago, just what has he reminded everybody, Dan, in terms of his ability at both receiver and as a punt returner?
Yeah, one, he's a great decision maker at returner. He's proven that over time. Always our number one goal is possession of the ball. He's done a really good job of that. You know, Gary's operated like a pro. I think he's learned over time about what he has to do for his body to make sure he keeps it ready, right, and doesn't put himself in situations where he's going to be banged up later on through the season. He's worked really hard in the offseason as far as that, right, and had maturity and a level of maturity there. He's shown to be a leader in that room. He knows his job consistently, and he's been a playmaker as well, so really excited about Gary's progress.
From the first scrimmage to the second scrimmage, where do you think you saw the most growth, and even from the second scrimmage to now today's practice?
Just execution. Right, you know, scrimmage one, there's a lot of mishaps when it came from who was doing their job and if they were doing it correctly. Scrimmage two, you saw guys execute at a higher level, 11 guys on the same page doing what they're supposed to do, and that's always important early in the season.
At running back, how many guys you feel like can help you on a game-by-game basis? Just what's kind of your feel of the depth that you have there?
Okay, I really love this group. All right, really love this group. I think it's a selfless group too, like guys that want to see other people have success. Like they're genuinely excited when they see one of their teammates have a great run or do a great job in pass protection. And I've always felt like as many as you can use. This will probably be is the most that I've ever traveled. Once we get to that point where how many guys do we travel? I think a lot of them can have big roles in special teams for us too. So there's a distribution of wealth there that's really good for us that we'll use in a lot of different ways.
Coach, you obviously have gone to know this group for quite a few months now, from spring to fall, and you've gone to know what their capabilities are. With the regular season upon us next week, what makes you feel confident that this group can achieve the goals, not that the media set, but the goals that Oregon football has set for itself when the season gets underway?
Yeah, it's grown. I mean, this team has grown. I think, early in the offseason, I was talking about where's the leadership going to come from. There's a lack of experience, but I would always give me talented players over guys that have a ton of experience that aren't talented. So we have talented players that maybe don't have as much experience, but in this last month of practice, they've gotten a lot of experience. Over the summer, they've gotten a lot of experience. And then we've seen leadership show up. So that gives me a level of confidence going in this season with, the group that we have.
Thought the other day about the cornerback depth, just where is Sione in that group by way of proving himself capable, and why is he in a better position to help this team today than he was at times last year where he was just behind some other guys?
Experience and time, right? He's certainly above the line player for us. We feel like if he's out on the field, we can have success. He's got length. He's been a much better communicator in year 2 than year 1, and I think that comes with learning the defense. But yeah, he's showing up.
What have you seen from Malik this camp, and just kind of as he transitioned into a new scheme, a new offense? Just what does he bring to this offense?
Yeah, explosive playability. I mean, Malik is fast. He is fast, and you see it on the field. He has a lot of explosives. He's created a lot of those. I mean, he's certainly a deep ball threat. He's competitive. He has a competitive spirit. Last night we had a hot seat, for our team, and he was one of the guys in the hot seat. He got to share a little bit of his story. I always think it's good when our guys can connect with the players on their team and find out a little bit more about him, and he has a great story to tell. So I'm really excited to see what he can do for us this season.
What have you seen from the competition at punter, and has one separated from the other at this point?
Great competition. Both guys have done a really good job and have stepped up. I think our punt location, which is as big of is an issue as anything, has really stepped up. But both of them have had great kicks. Throughout scrimmage, throughout fall camp.
At tight end, we all know what Kenyon can do, but the guys behind him, I guess, how much have they made an impact? Just kind of your thoughts on the depth there.
Yeah, I like this position for us a lot. I think every day Jamari gets a little bit better when it comes to what's the scheme, what's my job, and he's proven that he can be a really athletic playmaker for us. And Roger's coming back from injury, and he's looking better and more confident each and every day. And then there's young guys in that room, too, that have stepped up. So really a talented group that I think can block well in the C area, can also flex out at wideout and run routes. But they all do different things extremely well, and it's a good group for us.
Coach, have you seen the freshman core develop from week 1 of fall camp to week 3? And without obviously naming any names, is there potential we could see some true freshmen make an appearance come week 1 this season?
Yeah, I think you will. Yeah, I definitely think you will. It's a group that's gotten a lot of opportunities, right? But the way we practice, what we do, it gives those guys an opportunity to go get involved and get on the field if they know their job. And I'll say this group is a group of perfectionists. They want to be right. They want to be great. They get frustrated when they mess up, and they got to realize that that's part of the process. It happens, right? As a freshman, you don't make every single play, but can you learn from those mistakes? That's the key. And I think you'll definitely see some out there making an impact for us this season.
As you've gotten to see him now for 30-plus practices between spring and now, just what makes Mekhi unique or in a different skill set than what Bucky did for you guys or what Jordan did for you guys and the rest of the running back room?
Yeah, every back is different. But Coach Stein, I think, said it the other day. Like, he ran counter where he was at. He ran duo where he was at. Like, some of those same play schemes exist. He's big. He's strong. Obviously, you just see him. You can see that, right? And he's learned the playbook throughout. Where he's at from the spring to where he's at now is a completely different person. So he's quiet. He just wants to go back there and do his job, but definitely been pleased with his progress.
When do you shift from focus on just preparation or building your roster, building your depth, to preparing for week 1 opponent?
Well, we've always been preparing, right? It's just what we do. It's not necessarily just about the team that we're going against. We'll start to shift that direction here this next week.
Throughout the entirety of the offseason, and going back to January, what areas would you say you and the rest of the staff identified for on-field improvement? When you talk about like doubling down on process is clearly proven, but we're talking about on-field improvement and changes that you guys can make as a staff outside of personnel.
I have a lot of answers here, but I probably wouldn't share them with you guys, right? Like, if it's something that I really want to work on that I think was a weakness, I don't necessarily want to announce it to everybody else what the weakness is. But there's certainly some stuff that we've attacked.
Going into a year, coaches sometimes have a sense of where their team's at, what kind of season this could be. What's your sense of this unit right now going into the last couple days of camp?
Yeah, it's always hard for me. I don't know that I've ever felt like if you asked me, hey, can you have 3 more weeks of practice to get ready, would you take it? And I think I'd always take it, right, even in this moment now. But I am really happy about the progress of day 1 to where we're at right now. And there's been, I haven't ever felt like we had in fall camp this day. Man, I wish we could have that day back. That was a waste. We didn't get better. I feel like this group's gotten better every single day. So from that standpoint, I'm excited. Would I love to have 3 more weeks to get prepared for game 1? Absolutely. But these guys are also ready to go hit somebody else, right? And that's the hard part about college football is you don't have the inter-squad scrimmages with other teams. You don't do that. You don't experience that. So you're hitting the same guys every single day, and they're ready to hit somebody else.
Kind of speaking of that progress, just what's it been like watching the development of Dante and Austin in that quarterback battle this offseason? Just how great is it just to see 2 quarterbacks that have the capability to lead this team and keep the battle going all the way until the final end?
Yeah, I'm excited about the growth of everybody in our quarterback room. And, for me, it's can they operate the offense at a high level? And I think you go back and you look at the moments that those guys just first got here and you say, okay, we should have made this check and we didn't, or we should have adjusted this and we didn't. Just the way you use your cadence, the command of the offense, the way you break a huddle, like all those areas have been big improvements. And then, a couple plays hit and all of a sudden everybody's confidence goes up, right? And that's the one thing that the quarterback can impact is the confidence of everybody on the field, right? Because a quarterback's job is to get the people around him to play better, right? You can't be good at quarterback if you're not good at wideout, if you're not good on the O-line with protection. So, at the end of the day, those guys have been able to create a lot of that. And if you look at them from day one to where they're at now, it's night and day.
That's Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning meeting with the media after practice this morning. Timeout. We're going to head to Hawaii now with Tracy Joyner, Oregon soccer head coach, after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Cider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon soccer is in Hawaii tomorrow at 7:30 against Sacramento State. After starting out 1-0-1 at Pape Field over the opening weekend. Yesterday, before getting on an airplane to Hawaii, Tracy Joyner joined us, Oregon soccer head coach, breaking down opening weekend for the Ducks. Undefeated start to the season for Oregon soccer. How does that sound? Tracy Joyner, Oregon soccer head coach with us. Hi, Coach. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm outstanding. The Ducks are undefeated this year, and that's thanks to your team. So great start, huh?
Yes, absolutely. We love shutouts. We'll take shutouts all day, every day.
Shutouts are good. Let's start with a 4-0 shutout to start the season. What were your takeaways?
Oh, immediate takeaways are it's really hard to score goals, and we scored 4 really nice goals, generated from, different, opportunities. So, we love scoring off a header. We love, 2 bangers outside of the box. That's hard to defend. So it was nice. And then, having a freshman score a goal, first time finish, also lovely. So it's nice when you score a variety of goals, because when you're looking at scouting us, you're not really sure, normally there's like a style to it, but we were scrappy. We got 4 nice goals.
Well, I heard you say that afterwards, and I thought, well, gosh, that's got to make it difficult to scout you. So I'm glad you brought that up. Like, could you unpack that for fans a little bit? That's got to be an advantage for your team.
It is, especially like stylistically, having so many new players. It'd be difficult to scout us, especially because we're interchanging systems, we're interchanging players. I think if you're looking at where our strengths, I think we're athletic, and we're finding ways to create really unique opportunities. And what I've loved is like the shift in mentality and the growth in mentality since day one here has started to really, really improve. And I think that the team is starting to understand and feel the momentum and why we train a certain way and why we're demanding in certain ways. So it's been really good.
You always say like the process leads to the results, right? There's always a phrase like that, but then wins really confirm that things are going well, right?
Yeah, wins help for sure. And shutouts. I mean, obviously our result on Sunday, we would have loved to get a win out of that, but I think it was a great result against a good team, and it was pretty even back and forth in terms of opportunities. I think we had the better opportunities, but like I said before, many times it's very hard to score goals, and so I think the defensive effort and the defensive work rate that we had was, I know we won 4-0 on Thursday, but I actually left the game feeling unhappy about the way we defended. And so I was very happy with the way that we defended on Sunday.
Well, a couple opportunities for your opposition late in that matchup, right, on Thursday. There were, shall we say, less of those opportunities on Sunday, right?
Yes, and it was really just like one of our non-negotiables with our team is no plays off, and that means like you got to track your runner the whole time. You cannot. The one time you don't track the runner is the one time she gets the ball, so we can't just hope. Let's make sure. And I thought Lauren Kenny did a really good job. There was 2 big moments that she had, in terms of growth from Thursday to Sunday where she didn't let her player get free, and she was the difference maker for us.
I've heard coaches in the past say that sometimes the biggest jump in improvement comes from game 1 to game 2, just because it's, you're against somebody else, and there's all the reasons. Like, did you see that? Like, do you feel that way as a coach, that sometimes, like, from game 1 to game 2, you can see that jump in improvement?
I think with a new team, for sure. I think when you've got seasoned teams and you've got a lot of veterans, you don't want that type of jump, because you want to, day one, you want to be good. But I think with this team in particular, we watched so much film over, in between the Thursday and the Sunday match, and just really highlighted some key things we needed to focus on. So, to me, it looked like 2 different teams out there playing in a really positive way. So I was very excited about that, and I think just reinforced, the message that we've been trying to communicate from the staff in terms of accountability, consistency, resilience. It showed in the game on Sunday.
Talking with Coach Joyner. Okay, I'm going to ask you the emotional question now. How did you feel in game 1, like running out to Pape Field?
Well, I would say the warm up, when I kind of have like a moment. I go out in the field about 90 minutes before the game, and I set up my cones in the warm-up. And
you've got your Zen moment there.
Yeah, and that's kind of my moment of, just clarity. And I start, thinking about, I already know what I'm going to tell the team, but I start to like kind of rehearse more and really think about, the key moments and things I want to cover, and the points of emphasis. But I had a moment. I looked up, and just with the organ and the wings and the thing, and I don't want to say I got teary, but I was like, okay. All right, let's do this.
I've asked that question, as you can imagine, before, and I feel like it's usually a similar response of like, "This is cool."
Yeah.
Like that. Like, there is that kind of moment of like, "Huh, yeah."
So I'm here. We're here. Right. All right, we made this. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Do you rehearse your pregame speeches?
Not like out loud in the mirror by any means, but I definitely have like a script in my mind of the things that I want to make sure I cover, because I don't really like to like look at what I'm reading. I like to,
with you.
Yes, I like to be performative.
You're being present.
Yes, and so I make sure that I go over those things in my mind so that I don't miss, because there's always something that I look back and I'm like, I forgot to say that one part. But yeah, so I usually have, 30 to 45 minutes of just kind of prep when I'm out in the field. And sometimes the things I think I want to cover, I don't actually, then I just get a different vibe on the field. I'm like, I don't really feel like that's what we need right now. And then I'll change course. But yeah.
Did you feel like the team was there was so much anxiety, and anxiety is the wrong word, maybe anticipation just to get out there, and it's nice to have that released in opening weekend, isn't it?
It was. I think Thursday was a little more nerves because I actually felt like Weber had the run of it, in the first half for a probably 20, 25 minutes there. So I think there was just some nerves and just unsure of how are we going to do this and what does this look like? But I felt like on the Sunday match, we came out with a lot more intent and just a different mentality. Yeah.
Multiple individuals that performed well as we continue to talk with Coach Joyner, talking Oregon soccer. But I have to ask you about something special with Taylor Bryan. Just let's unpack and maybe go back for a second. Taylor Bryan heading into the season. What did you expect? What did you see from one of the returners in Taylor Bryan?
So this spring, we really only had 9 players that were kind of healthy on the roster that we were, being able to work with. And, Taylor, when I first got hired, was one of the first players that kind of reached out to me. I was like, hey, can we meet? And I'm like, day one, sure, let's go. And she expressed that she really had, big dreams of playing professionally and wanted to know what my thoughts were on that. And I was like, I haven't seen you play yet, girlfriend. So let's give me the winner to work with you and see where you're at. And she just came with a really good attitude and good mentality. So I was excited after this spring. Although we didn't get to see her play in 11s, I got to work with her quite a bit in terms of just the functional training of being a striker. And her growth and improvement from day one till day 100, whatever you want to look at it. I mean, it was pretty stark. She just started to lean into it more and just the confidence and getting her footwork down. And she's so coachable. She asks the right questions. She wants to be great. And I know that should be just a standard at this level, but surprisingly it's not. And they don't want to necessarily put the work in or be as coachable as you need to be. But that is not Taylor. She is super driven, very ambitious. And so she had a great summer also. She got to play with the Thorns all summer. And so I thought that obviously really impacted her because she did really well for them. And for a striker, you have to have the most confidence on the field,
right,
as a player, and the most composure and all those things. And so to see her score a brace on her first game back on her birthday, that was a special moment for her. And I hope that, that carries on throughout the season because big leader.
So to take that a step forward, becomes team captain, right? Birthday, 2 goals on her birthday. I mean, look, this is storybook scripting type stuff. That's got to feel cool for her, right? That's a cool thing.
That was awesome. I was hoping for a birthday hat trick, but, for the alliteration purposes, Brian birthday brace, we'll take it. Yeah,
that's a good headline. Yeah. See? Good. Good headline writing. I'm all in. Now you're on the road. Okay, so we spent a lot of time reviewing. Now hitting the road. Nice scheduling going to Hawaii, though, huh?
I wish I could claim that. I inherited the schedule.
Look, you could have changed it. I'm just saying. I think that's good scheduling by you on the Hawaii trip.
I've managed to work in a Hawaii trip, I think, 4 out of the past 5 years for myself. So
bravo! I mean, look, I say good scheduling's good scheduling. How about that?
Oh, no doubt. I haven't had as much luck as I would have hoped for on my island trips, so I'm hoping that this year we turn it around.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Different uniforms, so we got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There are, though, I'm sure, this is kind of a cool thing for team bonding, too. I mean, long flight, I get it. Logistics are logistics, but you can spend some time with your team in a cool place.
Yeah, I felt like when I saw this on the schedule, I was like, this is great because we also have the luxury and the privilege, I should say, that we get to travel our entire roster, and that's
cool.
That's special because, this is, it's a special trip, and we get a lot of downtime to, explore and do great stuff together. With a new team, you want to try to spend as much time together off the field as you can. So this is, we've got some good stuff planned, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Sacramento State on Thursday at 7:30, and then the host institution on Sunday evening before making the return trip. Nice to get 2 out there, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, the downtime, the Friday, Saturday always just feels very long, especially with the time change. Like we're up at 5 a.m. there because, the time change. And so the days can feel very long, but we'll get a lot of downtime and rest. And it's nice to definitely get 2 games on the road. I think obviously we needed just going into the season, getting prepared for Big Ten play. But yeah, not bad. Good sunsets, good sunrises probably. We got a lot of good things.
That's right. How does it change when you go on the road?
What specifically?
Everything. I don't even know.
I think just like I always feel I feel like every team I've ever coached on the road is always like I feel like all we do is eat, and I'm like I know, but is there something wrong with that?
Honestly, you are so right. That is the most accurate answer to that question I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's just a lot of eating. So we've got some really good meals planned. I think that's probably one of the most important things. Yeah, and then just training in different environments, so we don't get to train on the game field. We got to, find a different place, and just the travel and, just adaptability, I think, is one of the most important things that you get out of traveling. Yeah.
What do you want to see from your team? What are some points of improvement heading into this week?
Finishing our chances. It's hard to generate 2-3 good chances a game. That's why soccer is typically very low scoring, is you really only get those good looks every now and again. So making sure we capitalize on those moments. But yeah, looking at film, running it back is just, again, the mentality pieces there. I thought on Sunday, defensively, I think the attacking mentality and some of the decision-making from individuals, I think just needs to get better. There's some missed opportunities. I'm not talking about in front of goal, but missed opportunities to go forward, maybe change the tempo, not force decisions. So looking forward to, seeing some players just making little tweaks to their game. But I think this weekend also is going to be, we're going to need everybody. When you're on the road, you got to usually play a little bit deeper into your roster, and that's a really big positive for us. It's a long season. We need everybody to stay ready, stay fit. So excited to get some more players minutes, hopefully, and see what they can do as well.
And Duck fans out in Hawaii, make your way out, will ya? It's going to be a fun environment. Get some Ducks on the road.
We'd love that. We need it. There's a lot of Hawaiians, rightly so, that show up for their games, and we'd love some familiar faces in the crowd and see our color green.
I love it. That's right. Slightly different color. Right. Slightly different color. Well, hey, travel safe. Thanks for always taking the time. Looking forward to catching up next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. That's Tracy Joyner, Oregon soccer head coach. Her team in Hawaii, 7:30 tomorrow. They're in action against Sacramento State before finishing the trip on Sunday. Undefeated start to the season for Tracy Joyner. That's pretty cool. Back to Oregon football when we return. We're going to talk quarterbacks. Yes, we're going to talk quarterbacks. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the fields and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom
She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We hearing that at Autzen in 10 days. How about that? The 30th, the opener against Montana State. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Will Stein, Oregon offensive coordinator. Do we have a starting quarterback? There will be one. We're going to hear from all of them today, tomorrow, Friday. Let's talk first with the offensive coordinator, Will Stein. Brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Will Stein talking quarterbacks, offense, and a whole lot more.
Well, earlier in camp, you were talking about wanting elite execution by the time you got to the start of the season. Just with a couple of scrimmages, how close are you, do you feel, to elite execution, particularly from up front when that was an issue at the start of last year?
We're getting there. Our first scrimmage was not. Defense kicked our butt in the first scrimmage. But by the second scrimmage, it was much better. Last week was much better. Guys flying around, doing their job. That was our main focus last week, was just do your 111th. Do your job. Don't try to do somebody else's job. Just do yours. Focus on your process. And then we can get all 11 playing the same call. We're going to give ourselves a chance to make plays on offense. So it's been a much better week, much better 2 weeks. Not that the first week wasn't good. It just kind of showed in that first scrimmage that we didn't come out. We didn't play physical. We didn't get momentum early against our defense. And it kind of spiraled in just to a kind of a meh kind of day. But the last 2 weeks I thought have been really good by our guys.
How would you define the competition at quarterback the last couple of weeks and just your overall impressions of the growth of that room and I guess just what's going to make that decision hard for you?
Yeah, really competitive. Every single one of those kids comes in and works their tail off. And I know I keep saying that, but it's a really healthy room. Guys are bought into the process. Guys are bought into each other. They're their biggest fans, but they're also competing. And I've been in a quarterback battle before as a player. And I was against a first-round draft pick, Teddy Bridgewater, he was pretty good. But when you worry about other people, that's when you see Dante make a big play, and then somebody else might say, "Oh, I got to make a big play too." No, just do your job. Or Austin makes a big throw, and everybody else, "Oh, I got to make a throw now." No, just do your job. Just run the offense. So it's been great. It's been, like I said, really competitive. But I think it's starting to kind of shape out a little bit for us, and we'll see here in the next week or so where we're going to go.
You kind of just touched on this a little bit, but can you go more in depth about just how the quarterbacks have responded to just having to compete day in and day out during camp?
They responded really well in drill work and meeting room prep and on the field play. And, becoming the starting quarterback is not easy, especially at a place like Oregon. It's very competitive. We have guys from all over the country that are here to compete, to win the job, especially with the history of the position here. 7 first-round draft picks at quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner, the winningest quarterbacks in college football history, or the most starts with Dylan and Bo. So it's there's a lot riding on it. There's a lot of, anxiety for everybody else about who's it going to be. But I know the person that we put out there is going to play winning football for us. And the good thing is they don't have to win it by themselves. We have a great team. We have great players around them, people that are bought in, a coaching staff that is as elite as anywhere you're going to find in the country. So all they got to do when they get their opportunity, go out there, run the show, be the point guard, get it to players, and just keep moving the chains.
Coach Iapani talked about trying to find his voice as a leader, especially with a lot of new offensive linemen. Can you talk about his growth in that area, if any, and how has he maybe helped the young quarterbacks as well?
Yeah, Poncho's great. I mean, he's everybody's biggest fan. I mean, since the moment he stepped on campus, he's just been a shining light, I think, to our entire team. But yeah, he has found his voice. I mean, you hear him on the sideline when he's not in, when the other groups are going. He's constantly cheering on his teammates, constantly investing in others, talking to people on the sidelines, picking people up. He's got a great voice in our offensive room when we go unit meetings. So he's one of the vets. He's, I think, the only returning starter on our offense. So he's played a lot of ball, played as a true freshman. He does help the quarterbacks out a lot in terms of at the line of scrimmage, procedure, cadence, maybe specific run checks or pass protection, checks as well. So I'm really, really fortunate and glad he's on our team, and he's He's one of the main glue pieces to us as an entire program.
Said a couple of weeks ago you wanted to see who kind of rose to the occasion at receiver and whatnot. We certainly have seen some highlight reel moments from multiple individuals, but if you're looking for consistency and you're looking for multiple answers, who has stood out to be most consistent there over the last couple of weeks?
I mean, Gary Bryant is one of the most consistent football players I've ever been around. He's a complete pro. He does everything you ask him to do. He blocks his ass off. He runs routes at the specific depth. He catches the ball, makes plays, good with the ball in hand. I mean, I was really saddened that he couldn't have an impact on our team like he wanted to, like we wanted to last season because of injuries. And I would have loved to have him, Tez, Trayshawn, all those guys out there, Evan working together. But obviously injuries plagued him last season. So I think he's in a great spot mentally, physically. He's super gifted. I mean, the guy's made plays here in 23. I think he had 40-something catches, 500 yards. So I remember the Arizona State play in 23 where he threw him a swing and he makes multiple people miss and takes it 65 yards to the house. So he's extremely consistent, and it starts with his prep. He's definitely, I would say, the leader of that group, and not just vocally, but just how he approaches every single day.
Well, it's been quite a while in your career since you've had kind of the prospect of starting a relatively inexperienced quarterback to start the season, and I'm wondering, what did you learn about that process during your time at UTSA, and maybe how have you changed as a coach since your time doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I've been really fortunate. I took over at UTSA as the play caller in 22, and we had a guy named Frank Harris who started a lot of games as well and won a lot of games, won a conference title the year prior. Then I get here and I get Bo Nix and then Dylan Gabriel. So I've been, like crazy blessed. The last time it's been like this for me was honestly in 2018 at Lake Travis High School. I took over, a kid named Hudson Card was a receiver the year prior and took over as a starting quarterback in 2018 at a powerhouse in the state of Texas, and we ended up having a great year. And it's a lot of fun to have this type of challenge. The good thing is that when you have people that are bought in, that are about the process, that are smart, tough, dependable, and extremely talented like our room, it makes my job easier. Now, there's going to be growing moments throughout the season that maybe we haven't seen here in the past few years, but there's growing moments with Dylan too. There's growing moments with Bo. I got here, we tweaked things in the offense, changed some terminology. That was a process with Bo. Dylan was coming from a completely different system into this style of offense and had growing moments early. You think about Michigan State last year through 2 interceptions in the low red, UCLA early in the year through a pick 6. So he was battling through his own process with us, that it was not a inexperienced quarterback, but it was new to this place. So the good thing is Dante's now in year 2 here. Austin's in year 3. Brock's in year 3. Luke's in year 2. That gives me a lot of peace of mind at night, knowing that I know they know the signals, they know the calls, they know the protections, they know our run checks, they know how we play offense. And I'm really, really excited to see them, take off this year and help us win games.
Yeah. In interviews before, you've talked a lot or numerous times about how last season started. And I know we talked to Poncho at Media Day, and he referenced how that still motivates him, how they started the year last year. What did you learn? I know it's in the past, but what did you learn from how you guys started last year, and how are you applying that to how you start this year?
Yeah, and I know I talk about it. I've moved on past last year, but it is great to reflect and to think about, okay, what did we do then? How did we change? We had some personnel changes early on last season that helped us spark against Oregon State. But I just reflect on, just me as a coordinator, having too many plays going in the first game, right? We're coming out of fall camp. You got all these schemes that you've been doing for the past 3 weeks and in the summer and the spring, and you just can't carry that much offense into a week 1. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's what do you do well? What is schematically the best advantage against the defense that you're playing? And, what your players can go execute. So that's, I would say, the big piece for me is getting us in a good groove early. Involves players playing the most confidently that they can based on the calls that are in, based on the personnel groupings that we have on the field. And we'll use the experiences in the past to learn from and fuel ourselves going forward. But, we're going to be playing a really good team week 1, really good team. And I'm excited about the challenge and the opportunity at hand. But right now we're still just focused on our process and today, and today's practice was good, and tomorrow's practice is going to be good, and we're just going to keep building.
What do you like about your running back room, and I guess just maybe the depth? How many guys you feel like you have at that position that can?
God, it's really deep, and man, it's so you start with Noah. I mean, what a great person, great leader, new father. Does everything. He's like a Gary, does everything right, has great talent, has been here, is a program guy, but an elite player. And I think he's had a great time here, working with Jordan James and working with Bucky. And now he's really the leader of that room, which is great for him. Jay Harris, Jaden Lamar, both have had really strong camps. Dink Riggs have had a strong camp. Makai's done really well, I'd say, this fall compared to where he was in the spring, just learning the system. Anytime you're new somewhere, it takes a little bit of time. I told him the other day, I said, dude, we're running duo, we're running counter, we're running outside zone. You've been doing this for a long time. Just know what the call is and go run it, So, and I think that kind of freed him up. And then you got two young players that are just, man, I'm starting to call them thunder and lightning, man. Like Jordan Davison and De'Ara Hill are going to be special players here for a long time. Really excited about them and their development. And that whole room, Coach Samples does a phenomenal job of distribution of carries, especially in practice, which is always hard. And those guys have responded, and they're a great unit, really great unit, and excited about what they're going to bring to us this year.
Well, when you went back and looked at Dante's 23 film when you first got him in here, what did you see by way of what could translate? And at this level, there's always the thought in coaching that you can improve certain things for a decision-making completion percentage, and you have done that. But at the next level, there's always the fear that, if they can't do it there, they sure as heck aren't going to do it here. What did you see translate, and how have you seen it be able to already improve thus far?
I remember we got on PFF and just watched all of his completions. It took out all the picks and all that and young mistakes that a lot of quarterbacks experience early in their career when they're thrust into a role, limited offensive line play, getting sacked, running for your life. I mean, that can be kind of detrimental to a young quarterback. But what I saw when I turned on the tape, wow throws. Oh my gosh, dang, that was a ball. And when those kept showing up on the completions, some corner routes or scramble throws, dude, this guy's got elite arm talent. And I'd previously known Dante because if you remember when I got here, he was committed. So I went to MLK, I went to Detroit, 2 times that I was allowed to when I first got here. So knowing him, knowing his family, knowing the people around him, his high school coaches, I knew he was about the right stuff. It didn't translate to UCLA, and not because of lack of scheme. I mean, I think we all know Chip Kelly's a great coach, and I just don't think he had the players around him that you need if you're a true freshman to go be super successful. So when he has gotten here, you could see his talent has flourished. He's so humble. He's willing to learn. He reminds me, he's a great blend of Bo football IQ, and Dylan just can grab it, can pull everybody together, which is really unique and special. I think I've said it in here before, but he wears 5. He's got a glove on his left hand. I played with Teddy Bridgewater. He does remind me a lot of Teddy. Now, Teddy threw with a glove on his right hand, but it's a lofty comparison for me, but he just got that kind of that moxie about him, that it factor that people just gravitate towards.
When Coach Stein said that, as somebody who competed and played against at times, I guess, in practice, Teddy Bridgewater, that's a huge comparison for Will Stein to make about Dante Moore. All right, Dante Moore, Luke Moga, Austin Novosad all met with the media this week. We've got those coming for you today, tomorrow, Friday. We'll get to all of them. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
It's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Talking quarterbacks, let's begin with Austin Novosad. His thoughts on how the offense has grown. I think you'll like what he had to say. Austin Novosad, Duck quarterback, meeting with the media.
Well, Austin, how has this last month been competition-wise for you compared to past years? Just what's been different about it, and how do you feel you've progressed this month?
Yeah, I mean, I think with getting closer to this season, just the competition of fall camp, and I think we've done a good job of just going out there and making everyone better each and every day. The defense has been making us better. Offense has been pushing the defense, and it's just been back and forth.
The development of the offense as a whole has gone from day one to now where you guys are at today.
Yeah, I mean, I think with a young offense and young receivers, tight ends, backs, but a lot of talent, you kind of it's cool to see the progress. And I think with the season so close, going out there and seeing the execution, everyone just doing their 1/11th, you can kind of see the potential, and it's gonna be fun.
Do you believe you've done enough to win the job?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've gone out there and executed the offense and, done the best that I can. And so I feel confident. Yes, sir.
Yeah, with game week, just kind of inching closer and closer pretty quickly, what do you feel is left to do for you between now and whenever a starter is announced?
I think, like Coach Stein mentioned, just going out there and executing your reps. When you get in, can you move the ball? Can you score with the offense? Can you take easy completions? And ultimately just be that leader for our team.
Just how do you approach a competition like this, managing your own development, but also wanting to push your teammates, whether it's the other quarterbacks in the room or just other position groups on offense?
Yeah, like I just said, just doing your job and really just executing the offense, making the guys around you better, helping them out when it's needed, and then scoring points for your team.
Hearing from multiple members of the offensive staff about the possibility of either more 12 and 13 personnel or just more two-back looks compared to years past, and from some of the highlights we've seen from scrimmages, it looks like that's what you guys have been trotting out there. Just what has it been like schematically or personnel-wise to work with maybe a little bit of a different mix than last season?
Yeah, each team's different, and I think this year we got a different skill set than last year. Just guys leaving and whatnot, and so we're gonna put guys on the field that make us win, and so whatever personnel that is to give us the best advantage, I think at the end of the day that's who we're gonna play. And so we've messed around with some different things and had some success at different personnel for sure.
You touched on the youth of this team at receiver. That's very clear. Can you just speak to the camp they've had and kind of the impact that group can have this season?
Yeah, I think they are young, but I think when you really get those guys going and get the momentum going on the offense, easy completions, and then getting those guys to block on the perimeter, it really sparks energy, and they have a lot of
connection that we've built throughout fall camp. And so once they kind of get rolling, I mean, it's dangerous. You can kind of rotate guys in and out and just keep moving the ball down the field.
Coach Stein talked about Iapani and his influence on the offense as the only returning starter and center. How has he helped you?
Yeah, I mean, he's, up front, he's making calls for us. And I think him and Charlie do a great job. Even Bryce, like all 3-4 centers that we have, whoever's out there, whoever you're getting snaps from, just their experience and kind of getting those calls right, helping you copy protections, different things like that. And having game experience, it helps a lot.
What's been the biggest challenge for you in going from somebody who your first 2 years you can learn the offense and kind of almost operate somewhat in the background to suddenly having to have that expectation of you're in a quarterback battle and taking that leap? Like how's that challenge been for you?
Yeah, I think the drive and focus don't change, but the execution has to increase. And I think, at the end of the day, like I said, when you're in, are you helping move the offense? Like, can you take easy completions, do your job, read the right guide, those things. Pre-snap and post-snap decisions have to be, executed at a high level. And I think that's what kind of changes.
Will also talked earlier today just about the importance of Noah, the importance of Gary and their veteran leadership and their experience, and how important has that been, for a guy like yourself trying to, win a job, to have experience like that around you?
Yeah, I think Coach Lanning hit it the best the other day. He was talking about just you're going to have adversity in a day. And so with a young offense, having those leaders around you when things don't go right, or if you get stalled out on a drive, whatever it may be, turnover, having those guys there to kind of bring the offense back up is super helpful, and you need that on a team.
That's Austin Novosad, Oregon quarterback, talking with the media. Timeout. When we come back, let's hear from Luke Moga, another guy competing in that quarterback room. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Talking quarterbacks as we continue on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Luke Moga, man, I'll tell you, the speed that Luke Moga displays is everything that was advertised when he became a Duck, and he's learned a lot in the actually short time that he has played football. Let's hear from quarterback Luke Moga.
Yeah, what's been your perspective of this quarterback battle, that competition that's been happening all fall, and where do you feel like your role has been in that?
It's kind of obviously a huge topic right now, but I'm just kind of trying to worry about myself. Obviously, there's a lot of still growth that I can have. I've had a tremendous amount already, but I'm not really too worried about that. I think that if I just take care of everything I can take care of, that everything will take care of itself.
Where has that growth been for you?
I mean, humbly, of course, I would just say in every area. I haven't played a lot of football. Didn't play football growing up, so just kind of, to learn from Dylan last year. He was an extraordinary role model for me, just on and off the field. And then with the guys we have now, just, all of us kind of bounce things off each other. So just really everywhere in the aspect of football, whether it's mentally, emotionally, how to handle myself as a quarterback, as a leader. I would just say, everything as a whole, to be honest.
Take us back to the spring game, because you certainly had a couple of highlight reel moments there that day. Just what was that experience like, and how did it feel to be able to showcase some of that athletic ability that you do have before a crowd where people don't get to see practice every day?
Yeah, it was awesome. I thought the environment was cool. I like going out there and just playing. Practice is highly competitive, but there's nothing like being an Autzen in front of people. You can't recreate it. So it was super fun, and it was a great opportunity to just go out there and play football like we do every day in practice.
How do you feel just about the overall depth and versatility in this QB room?
I feel great. We have a bunch of guys who can play. I feel like we all bring something different to the table. So, it's up to the coaches, and, we all showcase what we can do daily. But I feel great. I love those guys. They're some of my best friends, and we just have a great room.
What stood out about the receivers? Can you maybe peel back a little bit of what they can do and what they present to this offense?
Yeah, they all know they're going to have to step up. Obviously, we don't have a lot of returners, but just like the quarterbacks, they can all do different things, and they're all really good at those things. So we're going to have a bunch of guys who can roll this year, and they just go out there consistently and just make plays, whether that's running past people, catching passes over people, but they just do it. And like I said, we don't have a lot of depth right now, so shout out to them. They just come every day and they work. We know they're tired, but they just bring it every day.
That's a pretty big compliment about the pass catchers, and particularly in that wide receiver room. And, something that Coach Lanning was even asked just today, as we heard there from Luke Moga, about the depth at running back. He likes that group. Feels like they might travel a lot of running backs this year. Gives the Ducks some options there. We've got depth at tight end, a lot of talent in the wide receiver room. Opportunities are there for the pass catchers in the skill positions on this Oregon offense. Kind of exciting as we head into the opener. 10 days away, tomorrow. Join us for everything you need to know about a game day at Autzen. A lot of good information. See you then.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might